Good evening. And welcome to the introduction to the Frank and Joe Show. This special introduction is made possible through a generous grant by Nabisco, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by viewers like you. Many of you know me as Frank Mullen, internationally renowned humorist, satirist, and musician. But the truth is that my real name is Oswald Titzling. And I'm the actor who plays the part of Frank Mullen on the hit show, The Frank and Joe Show. The producers of The Frank and Joe Show receive many cards, letters, and emails from all over the world, written by the growing number of fans who have no idea who the real Frank Mullen is, nor where he is coming from. Ironically, there are many people who do know Mr. Mullen, and still don't understand where he is coming from. This introduction is for the purpose of shedding a little light on the background of both the Friday with Frank show and its spin-off, The Frank and Joe Show. Generally speaking, the audiences of both shows are made up of two classes of people. Those who get it, and those who don't. Those who get it are usually those who know that Frank Mullen is a very talented retired Navy musician who is an alumni of Franconia and Ibiza colleges. There are references, often made in both shows, to people the average viewer has never heard of. People like Lee Hudson, Dave Whitaker, and Walter Pincus. Lee Hudson and Dave Whitaker are both alumni of one of the organizations I mentioned. And you probably never heard of Walter Pincus, and that is okay, because he is not worth discussing. Frank Mullen and his wife, Jo, are real people who live somewhere in the Midwest. But their exact location is known only to the Witness Protection Program. Due to Joe's past connections with money laundering, color scheming, and the import and export of computer documents. From this secret location, Frank broadcasts his hit show, Friday with Frank. You can find some of his episodes right here on YouTube, but if you want to see all of the episodes, Frank is on Facebook, and, if you kiss his butt enough, he might respond to your friend request. It is widely known that Frank's wife, Jo, hates the Friday with Frank show, but what is not widely known is that her dislike of the show has less to do with her distaste of the show itself, and more to do with hiding from the Hasidic diamond merchants who seek her demise. The Frank and Joe Show, as I mentioned, is a spin-off of Frank's original show, but is completely independent of it. In fact, Mr. Mullen does not even act as an advisor to the Frank and Joe Show. The Frank and Joe Show is set in Mullentown, USA, and, while considerable artistic license is overemployed, it depicts the lives of Frank and Joe Mullen, as well as other residents of Mullentown, such as Officer Bobby the policeman, or policewoman, whichever you prefer. Deepa, the East Indian waitress, the Mad Bomber, Queen Elizabeth II, and others. The Frank and Joe Show is a curious mixture of truths, half-truths, and wild fabrications, which chronicle Frank's efforts to keep his show on the air, in spite of efforts to the contrary by a few residents of Mullentown, even including, go figure, Frank's beloved wife, Jo. If you are one of the growing number of viewers who do not understand the references to certain people, places, and things, please calm down, take a freaking pill. And rest assured that there is still much humor intended for the common viewer. All of the animations have been created using software that can be found at extranormal.com. The software is free to get started and fairly inexpensive after that. The software seems to be relatively bug-free, the only caveat being that there are a limited number of voices, male voices especially, which forces the producers of the show to be both inventive and resourceful in their use. This explains why there are so many un-American accents. Is that the right word? No? All right, I understand. Okay. So this explains why there are so many accents which are not American in origin. That being said, please feel free to browse the titles. While all of the episodes are essentially standalone pieces, they sometimes make reference to things which happen in previous episodes, therefore, they are best understood when viewed in episode order. Thank you for watching. It is the producer's hope that the Frank and Joe Show will bring a chuckle into your life. I leave you with the words of Steve Martin, who said, "A day without sunshine is like night." Good evening.